Hey friends, and welcome to my channel. Today I'm going to be doing a draw with me and talking about growth as well as friends. So grab your tea or pull out your sketchbook and let's have a little chit chat. In the mornings, I honestly love just scrolling through Pinterest, especially when I have no idea what to wear for the day. And honestly, just need some outfit inspiration, or sometimes just need a good motivational quote to set my intention for the day. So I came across one that actually inspired the sketch that I'm going to be doing today. And it goes like this. Sweet girl, it wasn't that you weren't enough, it's your energy. It asks others to rise up, and not everyone is willing to go where they would grow. When I read this quote, I was like, oh my God, this quote literally is hitting home for me right now. I guess it's just because what I was going through at the time, or you know how just like sometimes in life you just some things, it could be friends or like, you know, school life or your relationship or family, they just kind of have their hotspot moment in your life. Yeah, so when I read this, what came to my mind was just growing apart as friends. I was having this conversation with my sister the other day, and even though we're both in different age groups, we still are going through the same thing in terms of growing apart as friends and just people not rising up to where we are at right now. So for me, I've had two best friends since literally I was in diapers. We went through kindergarten together, elementary school, you know, literally life. These girls are my sisters. And I don't know, like when you're a kid, you don't really pick and choose your friends. It's kind of just like, oh, hey, will you share some snacks with me? And, you know, you trade lunches, you play on the playground together, and boom, you're best friends. So with me and my situation, it wasn't that I chose my friends because we had similar interests. Well, maybe snacks, but, or, you know, shared hobbies together or bonded over boys or something. But hey, it worked out because 20 years later, here we are, still best friends. But there comes a time where maybe people you've known for a long time start to grow and start to change. And you start to grow and you start to change. And sometimes it really hurts, or it's not the best feeling when you realize that you're growing and you're changing and your friends are growing and they're changing, but it may be in different directions. So for example, where you're at is not the same place where your friends at. Your mindset may not be the same mindset that they have. Your interests may not be the same interests that they have, etc., etc. Interests and stuff that's fine, you know, because like I want to keep that relationship a little different, a little interesting. But I think the problem is when it comes to mindsets and how you expect each other to show up for one another. Like, for example, I would expect my best friends to put in the same amount of effort that I would put in to either make plans or do something. But sometimes, especially if you've been friends with a person for a long time, depending on your personalities and depending on what kind of role you have in the relationship, either yourself or the other person will forget maybe sometimes, or not forget, but you kind of just get used to that person and you're like, oh, this is my best friend, like I know they're gonna be there for me and they love me, so you know what, I know they're there, let me maybe make plans, or let me maybe do this with my other friends, because at the end of the day I know that they're gonna be there. And obviously that is great because, you have that trust and you believe that that person is going to be there for you no matter if there's distance or, you don't hang out as much as you used to, or you don't put in that time and that effort as much as you used to, because, every day and as you move on through life, you're creating new relationships as well. So maybe they need more time and effort. But the one thing that I feel is an issue is when you don't constantly check in with that person who you hold dear. Because even though you're close and that person may know that they are important in your life, we're all human. We all want that constant reminder, or at least like once in a while, that, you know what, you are important in my life. You are the person who I'm going to go to first for any of my problems, or not even that, but even that you're the person that I want to share all these fun moments with. Now, with checking in, it can be used, I guess, in two ways. The first way is definitely to check in and make sure that that person feels like they are valued in the relationship and feels that I'm still your best friend. Because it's really easy to forget. Honestly, it is. Especially when things just get busy for the both of you, or, you're finding new relationships in your life. So yeah, all that plays a part. But the second thing of checking in that I wanted to bring up was checking in with yourself and asking yourself, is this person helping me grow? This is definitely a huge question you should be asking yourself once in a while. Or when you just have that feeling inside of you and you're like, either this isn't going the way I want to, or you kind of have to face sometimes the harsh reality that maybe this person isn't what I need in my life right now. This is especially true when you yourself feel like you're growing and you're just in a different place, and that other person can't play the supportive role or be there for you as a person that you need, and you're gonna have to make a decision. And it's hard because you don't want to be that person that has to bring up this hard conversation or has to distance yourself from the relationship. But at the same time, you don't want to have to be constantly thinking about how, if this relationship is right for you, or if this person is right for you at this point in time. It's exhausting. Like, it gets exhausting because to always have to show up or pretend or put in more effort than you should be, it gets really tiring. You owe it to your friend and yourself to be honest. Speaking of energy and the amount of energy that it takes in different types of relationships, I feel like that's a really important thing to think about as well, because every relationship in your life, you're gonna have to either give or take a certain amount of energy. And the ones that are balanced, the ones where you're giving energy, but you're also receiving energy from the other person and it doesn't leave you drained, is something that you should definitely strive for. Another thing that can cause this feeling of like draining or feeling low about the relationship is expectations. Now, expectations are one of the main causes of conflict or misunderstanding, and it's when we release that expectation that we have for people is when you start to free yourself from all that conflict, all that misunderstanding, all those hurt feelings of people not meeting up to the expectations that you've set up for them. So instead, replacing that expectation with being grateful. And just being grateful that you have these kind of people in your life that care about you so much, that are there for you. I'm not saying that you should be okay with the fact that these people are not showing up as much as you need them to. But what I am saying is that in order to get past that feeling you get when they don't meet your expectations, just changing that thought process into being grateful that they are there, even if it's sometimes or once in a while. The fact is that they're there. And remembering that not everyone can be there for you all the time. You need to show up for yourself all the time. But that's not going to be true for most of the relationships in your life. As much as you think, or as close as you guys think that you are, or as close as they're going to be to you, or as much as you love them, anything like that, there are going to be times where they can't show up for you. In order for you to make sure that you're doing your best in the relationship, or you're doing your part, don't stop trying to make sure that the other person knows what they mean to you. And that is how you maintain the relationship. Because a lot of times we forget, especially people who we're friends with or we're in a relationship with for a long time, that we forget to make sure that they know, and not even tell them, but also action, because action speaks louder than words. And I know sometimes you can just say like, oh yeah, you're my best friend, or oh my God, I love you. But it's different when you act upon it. It's those little things that show that you care. And if you do them, you know that you've done your part. Thank you so much for listening to today's heart-to-heart conversation. I honestly hope it may have given you some kind of clarity if this is something that you're going through right now. And I'm so glad you guys joined me in drawing, because honestly, sometimes you're sitting there sketching and you're like, I have no friends. But this was a lot of fun. But yeah, please comment down below so that I am actually not talking to myself, and share what you thought about the conversation today. Any thoughts or experiences. Let's just get this conversation started.